Okay, hello and welcome to today's episode of Road to Becoming a Natural IFBB Pro. Well, at this point, really, is it an IFBB Pro that we're looking for, or just becoming a pro? And I guess, you know what, there's some further updates. So maybe the idea is, rather than becoming a pro, is to compete against pros and be the best pro uh, of my run, basically. I've had the idea that obviously I already know this, but I obviously never want to lose a show. And losing a show basically just means not winning. And I think I'm one of the few people that actually have the opportunity to basically not lose. So rather than just trying to win an IFBB Pro Card, because I think I will definitely do that in time, I also want to not lose, and I also want to be competitive against other natural pros, well, the ones that are in my generation or my run of competing. Um, One thing that keeps like cross my mind is they say, well, the common thought is that basically bodybuilding, well, especially natural bodybuilding, is the old man's game, right? Um, and I am 29. I think I could probably do this until I'm about probably like 10 years into the future, but maybe I won't be able to be as competitive either at the early stage or the later stage of my career, but I definitely will have a prime where I'll be a dangerous competitor, I believe. Anyway, long story short, I'm going to cut to the chase just to kind of set the tone for the session. I'm basically putting an end to my run of doing shows this year. So basically, what has happened is I had a conversation with, um, I can't type and talk. I had a conversation with Adam Powell, and I'm not sure if anybody, well, if you know him or not, he's a natural bodybuilding coach, and he's quite popular at the moment. Well, I guess he's quite relevant in the sense that he's somebody who knows a lot about bodybuilding. He competed himself, and basically he was saying like, there's no point in me competing this year because I might as well, like, I've already won a natural pro card. I might as well just like take this time off to compound my um basically gains and get ready to compete against pros next year. And it's funny enough, I think he spoke to me when I was kind of like getting more and more popular on Instagram around March, saying like, and start competing with pros because there's no point in competing like in the amateur division. Well, like I said, like I'll basically be ready for pros. And I thought, that's actually quite far fetched. I don't know if I can do that yet. And to be fair, when I won my natural pro card with the UK Drug Free Bodybuilding Association, I didn't even think that was a pro show. I just thought that's just what I need to do to qualify for the next, for the actual pro show in September. Come to find out, I won the pro card. Also, I can't compete in September. So there's been a lot of changes almost on a weekly basis with what my plans are for competing and what this season of competing actually looks for me. So initially, like you probably expected, I also thought I'd be competing multiple times this year, but then as things unfold and people tell me how this league, well, not league, but how bodybuilding actually works, there's only certain shows I can enter. There's only certain shows that happen at certain times. So just the landscape is different than to what I expected. But all that to be said, I have basically decided I'm going to use this time to grow. When I say grow, I mean just like clean up my physique. I think stage wise, I should really be competing at around maybe 85 kilograms, but it would be hard for me to diet down to 85 kilograms. What I need to do really is to lean out to 85 kilograms. So I need to get to the point where my like starting point for a cut or a prep only leaves me about 5 kg higher than what I need to do. So this is something that Adam spoke about. Basically, we went back and forth for ages, and he was just telling me about like what I should be doing, and like he sent me like a crazy thick paragraph just talking about what I should be doing and all these kind of things and how things really go. And another thing that I was kind of apprehensive about is, obviously I said I'd compete in October, but I don't think I'll be able to win the overall if I competed in October. This is actually one of his clients who's only, I think, maybe 20. He might actually be 19. Okay, he's 20. So this is one of the guys who he's got competing. He's like super strong guy, only a kid, crazy physique. Gonna be insane. I'll probably have to compete against him for the better stages of my career. But yeah, um, so we had the conversation of like, I don't want to lose. And if I do the WNBF show that's coming up, I don't know if I'm not actually certain I'll be able to win, but what I have to do to actually be able to compete at that show is to cut a lot of body weight very, very fast. And some physiques don't look good when they're sort of stressed out to get to that condition. And I think I would have to definitely stress myself out a little bit. Probably not as much as previously because I had a shorter window. And I obviously I don't plan to do 10Ks 5 times a week to get to that point, but I don't want to have to do that again. So my idea from this point is basically just to like have a nice or slow cut until about 95 or low 90s in body weight, and then get myself in the zone to begin prep, meaning then it will just be a case of dropping about maybe like 3 to 7 kilograms for me to get on stage. And the thing is, by the time I'm 95 kg, I'll look super lean anyway. So anything above that, it will just be, icing on the cake for what it will take to compete. So the general idea is basically just to like get ready to compete next year for WNBF shows, because that's like the Premier League for natural bodybuilding, I believe. And then basically have the same sort of plan for this that was initially in place for this year of going ahead with do the WF shows, do the world show, and basically be a world champion. Funny enough, actually, speaking of world champion, this guy followed me the other day, and he's actually, I think, the current world champion for 2025 bodybuilding world champion for WNBF, and his physique is crazy. So this is how he looks like. This doesn't really show his physique. So I think what's impressive about his physique is like he's kind of just like very, very lean. However, I do think he's beatable. I do think I can actually beat him. What I have on him is basically a better upper body structure. I think he looks quite so his legs are amazing, glutes are crazy, right? But his shoulders look very narrow, which is strange because at the same time, his waist also looks quite thick. You can't really see from here, but from the front, he does well to cover it. I think his waist actually looks quite thick, and it kind of throws off his symmetry. But again, like this is me nitpicking somebody who looks phenomenal. Like he looks crazy. Look at his chest is basically half of his torso. This is like me nitpicking on someone who's already who's already a champion who I think looks amazing. But when you followed me, I was like, damn, I keep forgetting that whenever I speak about what show I'm going to compete in, people who compete at that show also look at me or have eyes on me and like start to see me, or I assume see me as competition, because I see him as competition for sure. And he's only 2 years older than me, so he can definitely compete for a couple more years. However, I think he's actually taken time off for some sort of injury. But either way, he looks sick, and unfortunately, I won't be able to compete against him this year. But I do think by the time I get ready to actually step on stage, I would love to beat him. That's one of, I think, that could catapult me to the stratosphere of natural bodybuilding and being the top level competitor in that sphere. But yeah, long story short, not competing this year, going to and the thing is that usually somebody in the off season would actually do some sort of growth phase, but right now I'm 100. Right now I'm 103 kg, and that's more than 20 kg. Wait, hold on. 103. No, that's like about 15 kg up from where I need to be on stage. So that's about, like, if you do it in pounds, right? That's a lot of weight to actually have above stage weight. So for me to go into a bulk right now would be ridiculous, because I'll just gain more weight that I have to cut off eventually. So what this phase is really about is just like building lean quality tissue, and that's just like through like concentrating on my stimulus from training. So make sure that my training program is effective, making sure that like I apply myself through every session, make sure the cardio doesn't stress me out, make sure my nutrition is on point. I've never had an off season or like a time of not focused on a goal, where my nutrition has been on point. And I think just that switch, like making that change, will go a long way in bringing the best physique for me possible. So of course, the main goal really is just to make sure that I beat this look of myself, but then at the same time make sure I can beat the competitors on stage. And looking at Eddie, who won the last WNBF show, I definitely think I can do what it takes. So the phase has switched to a what would you call it? I guess it'll still be technically productive fat loss because I'm actually still trying to get down to 95 range. So my calories are actually still the same. It's just that my cardio has switched to just steps. So come on. How much steps am I doing? I'm aiming for about 10 to 15K steps daily. I haven't thought about doing cardio yet, and that's mainly because I can definitely just lose weight on this amount of calories, and that's going to be the strategy for not stressing myself out in the short term. I think as the time to actually like probably around 99 is when I maybe have to start doing cardio. But for now, especially when I'm above 100, it's just a calorie deficit to help me just um a reasonable amount of macros to help me get down in weight. But I think that's about it. Not competing this year. Cardio's steps, macros are pretty much the same. I'm pretty much eating the same foods. Right now I'm doing 2 meals of rice pudding and whey powder, and then 2 meals of rice and chicken with some salad. Yeah, I'm having more like every once in a while I'll have like a meal that isn't rice and chicken, but that's what my staple is. And now that I'm not in prep or anything like that, I can actually have some sort of diversity in my diet, which is kind of cool. But it's not like it's nothing crazy. I'm still just gonna make sure I hit my macros and prioritize the weekly weight loss. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions or want to consider one-to-one coaching with me, I have a link in my bio, and you can always just drop your comments in the your messages in the comment section below.